Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. I hope you guys are all doing well. Yes, the curls are still here because I am sitting, I just hit stop on the last recording and start on this recording. So it is the same day. Anyways, this week is going to be another busy work week for me. I feel like I've been saying that every single vlog recently. But I wanted to pick up some books that would just be like kind of quick books that I've really been craving and wanting to read. The ones that like you really want to pull off your TBR next. So that's what this week is going to be about. Hopefully to be a relaxing little part to the end of the day and make this busy week more enjoyable. There's not really a theme to these new releases. There's a couple of literary books, and then there's one mystery, and then there's one romance audiobook. I truthfully don't think I'm going to get to all of these because 4 books on a busy work week sounds like a recipe for disaster. But I'm going to tell you about the options and where I'm going to start so you kind of have an idea of things that I might pick up in this video. So the first book that I would love to read this week is The Great Big Beautiful Life, A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, her newest release. And I'm planning to read this one on audio because that's how I've enjoyed all of her other books, and I've done really well with that before, so planning to listen to that kind of on the way to work and on the way home from work. But this book has been getting a lot of mixed reviews, mainly because it is a little less romance heavy than some of her other books. It's a little more like a general fiction is what I'm getting based on some of the reviews I've read, but it's about 2 writers that go to write the story of an elderly lady who lives in some type of remote place and kind of maybe a hate to love romance, I think. So I've really enjoyed other Emily Henry books. My favorite ones are Funny Story, Happy Place, and Book Lovers. My least favorite one is People We Meet on Vacation. Wasn't my favorite. So I'm interested to see where I'll come down on this. All of them have been between like 3 and 4.5 stars. So generally an author that I really enjoy and I think will be a great like turn my brain off audiobook to listen to on the way to work. Next up, I have 2 literary releases that came out recently and I've really been wanting to pick up. And I feel like recently I've been reading a little less literary fiction, which tends to be one of my bread and butter genres. I've been branching out a little bit more. And so I feel like it's going to feel really good to pick up something that I'm familiar with and that I really enjoy. So the first one is Audition by Kitamura. This is a pretty short book and one of my most anticipated releases for the whole year. It's a novel about 2 people that meet in a cafe, older woman and a younger man, but they don't tell you how they're related. Are they in a relationship? Are they family members? Are they friends? And so you don't really know what's going on, I think, until the end. So heard really good things about it, and her first book people really enjoyed as well. So excited to pick this one up. And then recently, I went on a little impromptu trip to Barnes & Noble where I saw the new Tori Peters book, Stag Dance, and I needed it. So here we are. This is a book. It's a novel and 3 short stories kind of combined. And I haven't been able to figure out if this is if they're intertwined, if the characters know each other or not. But heard really good things about it. It's blurbed by people that I know and love. Okay, not know, but like heard of. Miranda July, I saw her speak and I just thought she was so interesting to listen to, and I really enjoyed All Fours, her book. And then Britt Bennett is the author of The Vanishing Half, which I think was one of my favorite books of a few years ago. I want to say the year it came out. So high expectations for this one, although I'm a little nervous about the structure because a novel and 3 stories sounds weird. I've never read anything like that, so intrigued. And then the last book that is on the radar for this week is Murder at Gulls Nest by Jess Kidd. This is another one of my most anticipated releases for the entire year. It is the first book in a new mystery novel, cozy mystery novel. It's about this woman who goes to a little cozy seaside town and she stays in an eccentric boarding house. And I think people start turning up dead. So this cover really sold me. I know Jess Kidd's books are really loved, and this is her first kind of exploration into mystery novels. So I think that will be also a win. So anyways, all of these are on the shorter end, so I'm not sure how many I'll get to, but I think I could at least get to a few of these and hopefully really enjoy some of these new releases and check some off because I've really been wanting to read them. Anyways, Tyler and I are about to head out for dinner. We're going to watch the Cavaliers game. They are playing the Pacers in the second round of the playoffs. I'm not super well versed in NBA basketball, but it's kind of a nice thing to like have on the background as we eat some yummy food. So excited to do that. And then tomorrow is my last like get my life together type of day before work starts again on Tuesday. I start my week on a weird day. Long story, but it'll be kind of a busy day getting things together. But anyways, welcome to the vlog. Well, my shelves are in total shambles because I just filmed my entire physical TBR video, which you guys have probably already seen if you're watching this vlog. It should have gone up this past week. I'll link it if it's up. But my shelves feel very bare and my floor is just total chaos. And speaking of chaos, Tyler and I had a super chaotic start to the day. So today was the day where we were going to shop for our wedding rings, our wedding bands, and we got all of our stuff over at Brilliant Earth. That's where I got my engagement band. And we knew that it was going to take a while to get there, so we left plenty early, and we just made every wrong turn that we could possibly make. I missed 2 exits, he missed another exit. So hopefully that's not the universe telling us something. I don't think so. But we were very late. We were like 20 minutes late. But we tried on the bands and we immediately were able to figure out what we liked pretty quickly. So we were able to buy them today in like a 30-minute time slot for both of us to get sized and buy our wedding bands. But I think once we looked at the rings, we both kind of knew what we wanted. So maybe it just like forced us into a decision a little quicker than would have been if we were just like looking at every single ring because we needed to get on. So that was our morning. We went for lunch and then I've just filmed this extremely long video. I did want to give you guys a little update on Audition by Kitamura. So currently on page 65. So I think maybe about a third of the way through this book because it's actually a pretty short book. Well, there's about 200 pages. So, I still have a little ways to go, but I'm intrigued so far. It's a book that has a structure unlike a lot of other books that I've read before because you don't really, like the author is keeping a lot from you about the relationship between these different people and the history of these people. And so a part of the charm of this book is that you don't know a lot of the pieces that are given to you in other novels. So it feels very outside the box. And I was worried that that would make this book really boring because I'd be like, well, who are these people? I don't really care. But I'm actually really interested and it's very propulsive because I just need to know like who these people are to each other, why they're meeting in the way that they are, like what is the backstory. And I'm actually interested to like keep reading to find out. I'm not just like, ugh, just tell me. So yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. The beginning definitely has me hooked, definitely has me intrigued. So plans for the rest of the day. I have Orange Theory that I'm going to go to. I have to clean up this absolute disaster in my reading room, which is like maybe 100 books on the floor. Tyler and I have a few bits and bobs we'd like to do in the garden. I need to clean the house before work tomorrow. So it's going to be like a get our life together type of day. But so far, very happy to say that this is starting out on a positive note. And I am certainly intrigued to get to read this a little bit tonight with a cup of tea and dive a little bit more into it. I've been thinking about it even all morning while I was buying my wedding bands and late on the interstate. I was like, what Wonder who those two people in Audition are. So yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. Gonna get to my very long list of to-do things. So it's currently Wednesday evening and I have a lot of updates for you. I have a package to haul that came in the mail that I think I know what it is. I have a book that I finished and I'm about to start another book. So lots to update you on. Before I get into the reading updates, work has been pretty same old, like lots of busyness, lots of craziness, but has been okay. I feel like I'm starting to adjust into this new job. For those of you guys that don't know, I graduated residency last year, so I'm just starting out as being a full attending physician, which is quite an experience, but yeah, I'm easing into it. I'm getting help where I need help, and I think it's been good. This week has been pretty much par for the course in terms of weeks. Nothing crazy, nothing super stressful or different. And yeah, we're making our way through. We're almost at the halfway point. So very happy with that. I did make some strawberry thyme water. Basically, I just mash up strawberries and pick a few sprigs of our fresh thyme. And I've really been enjoying just drinking this on the patio while I am reading. Tyler and I went out for dinner. We went to this tapas place, which had really, really delicious food. And he is out with some friends, and I am just having a cozy night in. So you're now updated on everything. But book mail. Here's the package that came. All right. So yes, this is a new release. Ooh. Not Ashley Flowers getting a blurb by Gillian Flynn. So this is the new Ashley Flowers release. If you're not familiar with her, she's a very famous podcaster. She has a true crime podcast called Crime Junkie, which is probably the most famous true crime podcast. And this is her second mystery novel. Her first one was called All Good People Here. And I read it and I overall enjoyed it. I think I give it 3 or 4 stars. It was a solid read. This is her second one, and I don't believe in any way that it is related to the characters of the first one. But the first thing that jumped out at me is some of these blurbs on the back. Gillian Flynn, yes please. Geneva Rose, I'm not actually sure. I haven't heard of her before. Gillian McAllister, which I have a couple of her books but have not yet read. So definitely some well-known mystery names. I believe this is a book about a cold case. Yes. 2 women haunted by their sister's unsolved disappearances band together in this captivating mystery for the from the #1 New York Times bestselling author. All right. Well, intrigued. I love a book about a cold case and I love a missing person story. So very intrigued to pick this up. I do have the new Anthony Horowitz book coming in the mail hopefully next week. So I might do a little thriller vlog week with this and that new Anthony Horowitz book. So probably won't get to this in this vlog, but I am looking forward to picking this one up. And I have a reading update for you guys, and that is that I finished Audition by Katie Kitamura. I gave this 2 stars, unfortunately. I think that the sentence writing of this was very good. The structure, the word craft, I don't know if that's a phrase, but the way that the words are put together is excellent. I think that little bits and little scenes of this came together well for me, but I just have no idea what I read. Like, I truthfully don't know what happened in this book. And I did spend quite a bit of time with it for it being just about 200 pages. I spent a lot of time like piecing through, trying to understand. But I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't know that this book is written for everybody to take the same thing from it, first of all. And second of all, for you to get a distinct plot from it. So I found that frustrating. Like, I wanted to understand a little bit something more about the characters at the end of the book than I did at the beginning of the book. And I just don't think I did. Do I think I could enjoy something that this author would write? Yes, because I do think that the way that they wrote really resonated with me and I really liked the actual way the sentences were constructed. Do I enjoy the format of her books and how experimental they are? No. So I just don't know where I came down on this, but ultimately 2 stars. I did not find this to be a particularly enjoyable reading experience. If you are someone who really enjoys literary fiction and like digging into things and taking different things from a book and maybe don't need that much of a narrative structure, you might enjoy this. And I would just go into it knowing two people meet in a restaurant, you don't know how they're related, and it goes from there. I don't think knowing more would be beneficial. So 2 stars. After that experience of reading something that was very frustrating and difficult for me to interpret, I want to read something that's kind of like cozy, comfort zone vibes. So I'm going to pick up the new Jess Kidd Murder at Gulls Nest, which sounds like it'll be a cozy mystery. And I think that this is what I need in my life. Probably might read a couple of pages of this tonight, although probably won't get too far into it. But I'm excited to just like dive into something narrative, cozy, followable, something with a structure that I'm familiar with. And I don't know, cozy mystery series just seems like what I want right now. So I am going to finish drinking my strawberry thyme water and then I'm going to head to sleep. It is on the earlier end, but I'm also really tired. So I want to just like get a good night's sleep so that I'm ready for another day at work tomorrow. So it's Friday evening and it's about 9 o'clock. After work today, I got to go hang out with some of my work friends at one of their homes and we got pizza. We drank a glass of wine. It was really lovely. It was nice just like catching up outside of the work environment and like getting to be outside of the hospital. And so that was really nice. It's been a really nice day outside today. Their kids were like running around and it was just so lovely to like hear the sound of happy children. I don't know why. As a pediatrician, that always makes me happy. Yeah. So we're nearing the end of the work week. I finished my work week on Monday, so still have a weekend to go. But yeah, overall things have been pretty solid. I did want to give you a couple of reading updates because I realize I have been very poor about updating you about the new Emily Henry, A Great Big Beautiful Life. And I also have an update for you in terms of Murder at Gulls Nest because I made my way through like 70-ish pages of that one. Oh, and I did my nails. They're actually press-on nails, which I'm really impressed with how they look because I thought that they would look like less put together than they do, but they actually look really great and they're so far staying on. I got them from a company called Glamnetic, so I'll put that down in the comments if you guys are interested. But really great experience with these so far. And my battery is flashing at me, so I'm gonna go fix that. All right, I am back. My battery died. So A Great Big Beautiful Life. I want to say about halfway through this one. So I'm a little over the halfway point of this one. And you're following, basically, there's kind of 2 stories within it. So kind of the overarching idea is you're following these 2 authors, Hayden and see, it's never good when I can't remember the female main character's name, but Hayden and the female protagonist, and they have gone to this like kind of quaint seaside area. I think it's an island. Uh, to interview this elderly woman who has been in the spotlight for much of her life, for different scandals and for just being very famous. Essentially, an Evelyn Hugo-like character. And she has been, for several years, kind of been MIA, has not really, people haven't really known what's going on with her. And she's essentially in hiding. Like, not a lot of people knew where she was or where she lived. But basically, they are invited to go meet with her, talk with her, and she is kind of trying them against each other. So her name is Alice. So to see whether Hayden or Alice is going to be the one that's going to be selected to write her book or write about her life and her family. So you have this kind of not hate to love, but this like rivalry situation between Hayden and Alice. Of course, it's a romance book, so we all know where that's going. But then in the other half of the book, you're getting kind of the stories that Margaret Ives, this very famous lady, is telling them, and then also some of the research that they're doing to like figure out between the cracks what actually happened in her life. And what I have to say is that I really like the romance chapters. Like the Hayden and Alice romance feels like an Emily Henry book, but I feel like it's condensed into half the book. And the other half of the book is just a dump of like characters and events and things that I don't necessarily care about. Like when I pick up an Emily Henry book, I pick it up for the comfort, for the romance, and I'm only getting that half the time. And so the half that I get it, I'm happy with. But the other half, like using my brain to like remember, and it's not that I don't use my brain when I read a romance books, but like actually having to pay attention to all the character names, the events, who was with who is married to who, is just not the reason I picked it up. And I don't feel like the way that that's constructed and the Margaret Ives stories are intriguing enough, at least not on the audiobook version, for me to like be invested. I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as People We Meet on Vacation, at least for me. Not that that's a bad book. That's my least favorite Emily Henry, but it's not like the level of Happy Place or Funny Story where it's just that chemistry building the whole book, where it's just that narrative that I care deeply about the whole time. There's this whole other part that I'm just, quite frankly, not super invested in. So far, I'm a little bit disappointed with it. But as I said, the romance part of it is written like a good Emily Henry book. It's just that the structure and the goal of this book feels very different from her other books. And I don't know that she's made that transition yet, at least for me. So there's that. I hope that I will be able to finish that. I am listening to the audiobook like as I'm walking between patient rooms in the hospital and also on the way to work and back from work. So I'm thinking that I probably will be able to finish it, but I still have a little ways to go. And then last night, I picked up the beginning of Murder at Gulls Nest. And as I said, I'm about 70 pages through. And this is really fun so far. So you're following this character named Nora. She was in a monastery for quite a while, for 30 years. So she's now in middle age. And she has always written letters to her friend who lives in this seaside town. And her friend, like all of a sudden, she's basically someone who's very reliable, very good natured, and would not just like disappear without a trace. But she stops writing Nora letters. And so Nora decides to leave the monastery, which is a huge decision, obviously, as she's lived there for such a long time. And it's not just like her routine, but it's like a way of life and who she is. But she decides to leave and go to this little seaside town where her friend was living and move into the boarding house where the friend was staying and kind of uncover the secrets about the quirky characters that live in that boarding house and try and figure out like where she is and what happened to the friend. I really love how the setting is built up in here. So it takes place in this kind of like, not war-torn, but a little bit dragged down, I don't know the right word for it, town called Gore on the Sea. Maybe like was once a very cute vacation spot, but in the post-war years, this takes place in the 50s, has maybe a little bit rough around the edges. So it takes place there. And I think that the setting of the town is really lovely. I think that the way the boarding house is really described is really cozy. There's a lot of like funny moments in here. Like when she checks into the boarding house, all of the rules, kind of the quirkiness of it, the way that the food is described, the way that the different rooms are described. There's just like that comfort aspect to it. This does seem a little slow moving, although we have had our first big twist already on page 70. So I just have good feelings about this. I think that this is going to be a winner. I'm going to read a bit more on the couch before I head to sleep, but I don't think I'm going to be able to read too much because I'm already getting tired. So planning to read a bit more of this, but so far really this is a win. All right. I have rambled for quite a long time. I was looking at the little clock at the bottom of my screen, but I've rambled for quite a long time. So I'm going to read and then head to sleep. All right. So it's currently Tuesday morning and I'm very late getting this reading vlog up, but I'm really glad to say that my work week went okay and definitely busy. At the end of these weeks that I have on service, I do like a full week of being a hospitalist and then I get a full week off. So at the end of my weeks being on, I am truly exhausted. I think I slept for about 12 hours last night, but I woke up feeling very refreshed and ready for a lovely, glorious week off, just enjoying the springtime, enjoying the garden, and getting some me time. So, but even though I did have a busy work week, I did get quite a bit of reading done this week, more than I typically do. And so I wanted to wrap up this vlog and let you know all of my final thoughts on the books that I ended up getting to. One quick note, my nails, unfortunately, my false nails that I was using, my stick-ons, fell off after about a couple days, which was very disappointing. I really liked them while they were on, and it might have been how I applied them because I haven't used them before, but they only lasted a few days before they fell off. So I'll wrap up what you've already heard about, and then the books that you haven't quite heard about will be right after. So first off, I read Audition by Kitamura, which I gave 2 stars. I really enjoyed how this book was written in terms of the quality of the writing, but the plot, the structure didn't really work for me because I truly didn't really understand what was happening. It was very freeform, very experimental. The idea behind this is 2 characters meeting and you don't know who they are or their relationship to each other. And it really is a commentary about society's need to like put labels on things, and the way that we interpret people is very much based on their relationships between each other. But it didn't work for me, so I gave it 2 stars. Next up, I ended up finishing Great Big Beautiful Life, which I gave 3 stars. My thoughts at the end of the book were pretty similar to the ones that I gave you in my mid-book wrap-up. Uh, I just felt like I didn't really care that much about these flashback stories of Margaret Ives, and I cared much more about this romance plot. I also thought the end of the book was a little bit rushed. I was listening to the audiobook and I saw that we only had about 30 minutes left, and I was like, how are they possibly going to wrap everything up? And they did, but not in the most like satisfying way. So yeah, solid read, 3 stars. Not my favorite, not my least favorite, Emily Henry. It just was, and I'm moving on to the next one, but I will definitely pick up her next release when it does come out. And finally, this morning I finished Murder at Gulls Nest by Jess Kidd, which I gave 3.5 stars. This was super cozy, super atmospheric, definitely a cozy mystery, not like a full-out twisty-turny thriller. And I loved the relationships between the characters. I loved the setting. I loved Nora, our main investigator. I found her character just to be really endearing. Like, I want to read more about her and know more about her backstory. I think this one fell down a little bit because there were so many side characters and so many side plots in the middle that I got a little bit lost. And I also felt that it was a little slow moving in places, but it was solid enough to make me want to continue on with the series. And so I'm really happy that I have found myself another cozy mystery series to get excited about. And I was watching a video of Louise Savage. She does a book of the month every month where she talks about a book that she really enjoyed. And this was her one of April. And apparently she recently interviewed Jess Kidd, and the second one in the series is almost like the manuscript is almost done. So while they have not announced a title or a release date or anything, it sounds like this is very much in the works to becoming a quick moving series. And I'm excited to be along for the next installment, even though this one was good, but could have been better, I think. So with that, I had a really fun, busy work week, reading some new releases that I was really excited about. Did I find a favorite? No. My highest rated book this week was a 3.5 stars, but I had fun with everything that I read, and I was really excited and really grateful that I got to experience all of these lovely bookish memories this week. I would love to know in the comments down below if you have read any of the books that I picked up in this video. What did you think of the new Emily Henry? I know that's the hot topic on BookTube at the moment. So did you enjoy it? Were you a little bit let down by part of it? I'd love to know what you thought. And last but not least, I will have you leave me the house emoji for this little house on the front of Murder at Gulls Nest if you made it all the way through to the end of the vlog. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.